Hey guys, it's Shadow. Let's do a brief overview of the upcoming PvP as it's a pretty big patch. Here are some of the highlights. Starting off with the new DLC, Victors and Vanquished. It was announced about a week ago, and when the patch is released you'll be able to play it via the campaign screen up here. Previously, historical battles were rather unintuitive to find, being under the African campaigns section. Now they're in the top left. I definitely like that it's more accessible, but it does look a little bit disjointed to me. Victors and Vanquished will be released on the 15th of March and features 19 historical battles, 14 of which are polished versions of community content primarily designed by Philly Soldier, and it also has 5 brand new scenarios. From having played some of these community scenarios, I am looking forward to seeing this DLC, and welcome the move to include more single player content. If you want to try some of the content that may be in the DLC before it is released, you can find many of these scenarios in the mod section by typing in Philly Soldier. We also have a new challenge scenario. Unlike previous ones, this one can be played co-op against your friends or both. It's a bit of a game of cat and mouse. The Byzantines and Turks have competing goals. The team of Byzantines must defend the Hagia Sophia, and the Turks must capture it. There are 2 players on each team. The Turk team start with one player needing to make a land assault and the other going for an amphibious assault. The Byzantine players both start with very limited villager numbers, and they cannot be recreated. The only economy you have are relics, the starting villages themselves, and any additional fishing ships you make. You are also kept inside your own walls initially by these grey walls. You'll have to wait for the Turks to breach them. Either way, it looks like a lot of fun. Next up, we have some small balance changes, but some very significant ones for the Georgians. Georgians no longer have a -50 food penalty, which makes the beginning significantly easier as well as opening up the opportunity for some absolutely insane uptimes. Additionally, the cavalry regeneration has been changed from a staggered 5, 10 and 15 HP in Feudal Castle Age and Imperial Age, to just a flat 15%. Simply put, this is a straight up buff to your cavalry in Feudal and Castle Age, and a buff to any cavalry unit over 100 HP in Imperial Age. As a result, 2 notable exceptions that the region has been nerfed on an imp are cavalry archers and hussar. Please note that even though it's not how it is currently worded, cavalry do not regenerate in Dark Age still. Manasva have also had a slight nerf, now training 3 seconds slower and making their attack buff stack a little slower, by making the extra unit requirement go from 5 to 7. This should make the unit a little bit less snowbally. Incas had a bug where their food costs were not accurately calculated for skirmishers and eagle warriors. It's actually only a 1 food saving per unit per age, but every little can definitely add up. For the Italians, Genoese crossbowman training time has been decreased by 4 seconds. Now for a change that's rather interesting to me, Tatars no longer train flaming camels in castles, but in the siege workshop, and they do not require Timurid siegecraft. They are available immediately in the Imperial Age. To compensate, they are trained 10 seconds slower than before. This will make the Tatars an extremely lethal threat against cavalry civs in the early Imperial Age. Now we jump into more general fixes and pathfinding. Villagers and fishing ships have now been given new commands. You can order villagers to seek shelter using one of them. This will make villagers seek shelter in the nearest garrisonable building that has space within 25 tiles. It works similarly to the town bell. This is handy for when you need a significant portion of your economy to be saved, but don't want to use the town bell which idles almost everything. There is also a drop off resources command for them too, which you guessed it makes them drop off resources, but then they immediately go back to what they were doing before. This will save multiple clicks in game. Here I'm having to individually select the vills on berries and right click the mill to drop off food, but with this command I can select all my villagers and just use the drop off resources hotkey. A desync issue relating to range unit animations has been fixed, although unfortunately I did run into another desync on the PvP. One of the good things about testing the PvP is being able to send a support ticket in the event something like this happens, so fixes can be done proactively. I highly recommend testing these patches with friends if you have the opportunity to do so. Another desync issue that has been changed is in multiplayer matches. Rather than desyncing the game for everyone in the event a desync happens for 2 or more players, only the desynced players will be dropped. Pathfinding changes. These are pretty minimal but welcome changes. Units will now try to attack the unit they have been sent to attack for longer before retargeting, and a unit on Sandground will take even longer to retarget to a different unit than when you have those units on aggressive or defensive stance. Additionally, line formation regrouping has been changed significantly. Previously, if you use attack move, patrol, or a move command, they would regroup into a column if you targeted them more than 10 tiles away. The troll still retains this behavior, but attack move and move commands now only regroup into a column when targeting them to move more than 30 tiles away. Now we move on to some smaller but still significant changes. When tasking a group of units to garrison into a siege unit or transport ship, units will spread themselves out to garrison into other siege or transport ship units of the same type. This will significantly speed up the process of garrisoning halbs into rams, for example. You can use control plus garrison if you only want the units to garrison in the one siege unit or transport ship. Additionally, siege weapons now do full damage within the radius of a projectile instead of the center point only. I believe this is a slight buff to Mangonel line units, bombard cannons, and potentially even Warwolf trebs, Dromans, and cannon galleons. TCs are a bit more accurate against targets that are closer to the TC, so no more sheep stealing. Rather amusingly, if you garrisoned a damaged mule cart previously, it would slowly take resources from your stockpile to heal up. This is no longer the case. There was an issue with random civ causing you to get stuck with the same civ multiple times in a row, and this has been fixed. Hopefully it stays this way. There are a few cheat codes that are now available to all players. My CPU can handle it. Grab your pitchforks. And Flemish Reformation. Overall, I'm quite happy with these changes. I do think units are still retargeting a little bit too quickly, but this is definitely a decent improvement on the previous patch. Let me know what you're most excited for in the comments below, and I'll see you again soon with another video.